right. All right. So we're going to do a brief class tonight. Core was requested and side stretches were requested. So as you get yourself situated, right, maybe just taking a moment to think about what you need, because there's 2 of us doing live, but maybe there'll be more people doing the recording. Right, or even just for those of us here, as we pause, as we kind of settle into our centering, comfortable seat, taking a moment just to notice, why it is we rolled out our yoga mat today, right? What we wanted to receive from yoga. I think it's always a good question. Why did I show up? So as you start to find stillness, as you start to settle in, just taking a moment and just appreciating the fact that you showed up. And noticing what it feels like to have shown up, to be here. And as you pause, focusing on your breathing, start to slow it down. Let your mind follow the breath, almost as if the breath had a visual, right? It's moving in through the body, illuminating the space, stretching, expanding. And then as it exits, it kind of leaves its wake, right? The body kind of pulls back inward. So noticing what happens in the presence of the breath, notice what happens in the wake of the breath. Allowing your mind to be curious, compassionate. And continue watching and see what happens, right? See if there's any tension that can release or soften. Letting the jaw relax, the face relax. And then return to that sense of what does it feel like to inhale? Right? What does the presence of the breath feel like? And then does the wake of the breath feel like? Maybe adding ujjayi, or the ocean sounding breath, with a soft constriction in the back of the throat. We'll continue our breathing practice, but we'll sort of add a layer of 3 dimensions, right? So maybe moving the arms with the breath. So next time you inhale, letting the arms start to drift up. And as you exhale, let them drift down. What if there was no set pattern or rule or, one way to do this? Just notice what happens. You inhale, you ask the arms to rise up. They choose their path. You exhale, you ask the arms to return back down. So just exploring the space, exploring the breath in another dimension, another layer. Doesn't matter how high the arms go, doesn't matter what shape they make, what path they take. You're just moving and breathing. So maybe there's a different path your arms would like to travel. Inhale, let them travel. Exhale, float them down. And just see what happens. Can you stay balanced through the body, keeping the mind focused on how it feels to move and breathe? Maybe the pattern keeps changing. Maybe it keeps staying the same. And eventually let your movements start to settle down back to stillness. Allow your body to breathe itself. And just notice how you feel. Notice the effect. You can bring your hands into prayer position in front of the heart. You can bow your head to your heart. Om, peace, peace, peace. Sending gratitude to yourself, sort of sealing in your best intentions for rolling out your yoga mat today. Good. And you can lift your gaze. And as you inhale, let your hands stream straight up the midline overhead. So hands in prayer, they can go straight up the midline. Just get a little taller. And as you exhale, let your arms float down. You can bring your hands back to prayer and we'll do it again. Inhale, reach the arms up, get nice and tall. This time, just pause. And as you exhale, just focus on softening the shoulders, arms in whatever shape they want to be in. Another breath in just to focus on lengthening. And then exhale, bring your left arm down. Keep lengthening through your right fingers and stretch over to your side. So pausing here, take a deep breath in. Noticing the right side body, and as you exhale, relax. Slow, deep breath in. And exhale to relax. And you can start to lift your way back up and just release the arm. We'll take a little break. So just pause. Notice how you feel, one side to the other. You can bring your hands back into prayer position. And as you inhale, you can reach your arms up, get nice and tall. Keep lengthening. And as you exhale, just soften. Feel your sitting bones pressing down, shoulders pressing down. Yeah, so inhale to lengthen, and then exhale, bring your right arm down, lengthening through the left fingers and stretch over to your side. And find something that you can sustain for a breath or two or three. So slow, deep breath in to feel the left side. And an exhale to relax and soften, and just continue in that way. Slow, deep breath in to notice, to feel. Complete breath out to relax. And then inhale, you can come right back up, release your arm, and just sit with it, right? Noticing how you feel. And then from here, let's transition. You can stretch your legs out if you want. Oh, I almost knocked over my water. I forgot it was there. So stretch out your legs. We'll do cat and cow. So we'll do rounded spine and arched back. And I'm going to leave it up to yogi's choice, whether you do it from seated, right? Cat and cow, or you can do it hands and knees. My wrists have actually been feeling pretty good lately. So I've been doing this from hands and knees. So it's totally up to you. But we always take a breath in neutral. And as you exhale, you round the spine. And as you inhale, you arch the back. In general, my classes, I always say, are knee-free and hands-free. And they can be, right? Most of the time they are. So this is not a must. You don't have to be on hands and knees. You could do this from seated. There are multiple ways to do things. right? So just noticing how your spine feels to move back and forth between these movements. Can you let your mind notice them as if you've never done this before? As if your complete goal was to continue to maintain or create rather harmony in the body and the mind. So with that in mind, pain has no place in that. So moving sometimes through the tension to find harmony, but making sure it doesn't push into pain. Good. And from here, let's transition to seated again. So you can come into seated, hands behind you, feet wide apart, knees bent. I'll go this way. And my wrists need a break, so I'm going to be on my forearms, feet wide apart, and let the knees go side to side. We're kind of jumping around tonight. Good. And then let your knees go to the right. You can pause there. You're going to keep your right forearm on the ground. And then you'll lift your left arm up. So I'm kind of turned sideways now. And let's see, you can take the left arm along the left leg. We're going to separate it in a second. So as you inhale, float your left arm up by your ear. You can arch your back a little bit. And then exhale, look down toward your knee. Arm comes back to the left thigh. So inhale, arm stretches up towards the ear. You arch the back a little bit. And then exhale, rounding the spine. So a little bit of that cat and cow again, but a little bit more side stretch. Good. And the next time, let's see, next time your arm is towards the ear, you can just pause. If you need a little more with the leg, you can move where it is. So maybe the knee goes back, or you curl the toes under and lift your heel. My couch always makes a nice assist, right? So use what you need. Good. And then you can release, bringing the hands behind you, feet wide apart again, knees bent, and let your knees go side to side. And then we'll go the other side, knees to the left. Left forearm stays on the ground, and you kind of turn sideways, right arm along the right thigh. And as you inhale, sweep your fingers in front of you and then up towards the ear as you arch the back. And then exhale, the hand comes back the way it came. So in front of you and then back towards the thigh. So inhale, the arm sweeps forward and up along the ear. Exhale, forward and down. So a little bit of cat and cow, not as much as before. Good. And the next time the arm is along the ear, you can keep it there. Maybe the right knee needs to move back a little bit. Maybe you want to lengthen your leg. Maybe you're like me and you have a couch or a chair or a table as an assist. So find a stretch that feels good. Keep breathing. Good. And you can release when you're ready. And this time you can bring your legs out in front, feet together, knees either out to the sides or knees up, and just round your body over the legs. To stretch the lumbar. And then when you're ready, you can roll your way back up. And let's come up to standing. And grab a block if you don't already have one. It's not necessary, but I think you have one, Janet. Oh, good. You have 2. All right, we're gonna do Pez dispenser legs. So you can place your block above your knees. Good. And once it's there, you're just gonna hug the block and take a moment and just focus on your feet. I always lift the toes. I like to feel all the bony landmarks pushing down, spread the toes out, and I really take my time to focus on the balance, right? You might bend the knees a little bit and then lengthen them. Then notice your pelvis, tailbone points down, belly draws in, heart lifts up, shoulders relax, right? Crown of the head lifts up towards the sky. So just really building your mountain pose. All right, and you can bring your hands into prayer. And as you inhale, you can reach your arms up. You can interlace the fingers if you want, but you don't have to. You can always part the hands if you'd rather. And just lengthen, press your feet down, lift up through the fingers. Keep breathing. And in a very small way, we want to emphasize length. You can arc over to one side and then take a breath in. And in a very small way, arc over to the other side. So when I'm doing this, I am emphasizing in my body the strength in my belly by pulling the belly back into the spine. I'm emphasizing balance by making sure I'd stay balanced on both feet. And I'm just going to keep lengthening and then going side to side. Good. And then you can come back through center. You can release your hands, bend your knees, and come into a very relaxed chair. We don't have to have the arms yet, right? So we're just kind of sitting back in an imaginary chair. So just want to focus on where your weight is balanced. You want to shift it back towards your heels a little bit. And then inhale, float your arms up as you lengthen the legs. They can go overhead, but they don't have to. And as you exhale, bend your knees, float the arms right back down. So you can bring them all the way down, fingers towards the floor. And then inhale, float back up. So what if you allowed yourself to think that this was easy, right? What if this was easy? We want this to be easy. So, do what it takes to make this really easy in a way. It doesn't mean it doesn't come without challenge, but we want to be relaxed in the face of challenge, right? So the legs are strong. The belly hugs in towards the spine. We are balanced through right foot and left, through toes and heels. And then with the repetition of these easy chair poses, right, they start to feel like a little bit more of a challenge. So keep hugging the belly into the spine. Keep focusing on, my power is in my center, right? That is where I'm strong. Everything else radiates strength from there. So you want to make sure that the center is strong. So the next time you're lengthened, you're in mountain, you can clasp your hands again, lengthen from here, and then stretch over to your side again. This time we'll hold. If that's too much on the arms, you can always bring one down or both down, but keep focusing on that length, the strength in the belly, soften through the shoulders, balance through the feet. You can come back up, lengthen, and switch sides. So use your belly strength. That's probably not the muscles that occur to you first when you do this, but make them first so that everything else is supported, right? And then inhale to come back up. Good. Exhale, release the arms. We'll do chair pose one more time. We'll sit. So focus on, how can this be easy? How can I make this easy? Maybe the arms don't want to be involved right now. Maybe I really want to focus on the balance in the legs and in the feet. And then maybe I can work on where the arms go. And whenever you've had enough, I did this earlier today, so that feels like enough for me, but you can stay in it as long as you'd like. You can release, you can take the block out, and then we'll just fold over the legs. So bend the knees as deeply as you need to. Let your head hang heavy. Take a deep breath in through the nose, and as you exhale, just sigh it out through the mouth. Good. And you can bend your knees and start to roll your way up one bone at a time. Chin will be the last thing to lift. Good. All right. So a little core and side stretching. That was the request. So we'll do lateral angle. We'll keep that. So when we had the block, when we were balanced, it was focus on balance and strength and center. So we'll keep that, but we can have a wide angled stance and step your foot out or right toes out and your left toes in a little bit. And just gently hug the feet towards each other. We want to find our balance. I always like to bring hands into prayer and then inhale, reach the arms up. You can certainly skip that part if you want. So the tailbone points down, fingers reach up away. And then exhale, bend your right knee, float your arms down parallel to the ground. So we'll do a little warrior two just for a moment. Good. And then inhale, lengthen once again, arms overhead. And then exhale, bend your knee and bring either your right hand or your right forearm to the thigh and your left arm past the left ear. Good. So we'll just pause here for a moment. I actually wanted to add another layer to this, but we'll come back to that. So here, let's go the other side. So you sweep your arm down, lengthen your legs, turn your toes, and then, very gently transitioning to the other side. Left toes out, right toes in. Bend your knee. Arms can be parallel. Good. And then inhale the arms up overhead, lengthen your leg, take a little break, get nice and tall. And then exhale, bend your knee again, arms parallel. We'll do a little gentle side stretch. So forearm to thigh, right arm past the right ear. And breathe. Good. And then we'll come back up. You can turn your toes, walk your feet together. I want to use the block here. So you can take a little break, grab your block, and then we'll do the right foot again. So you can turn your right toes out, left toes in, and the block can go right on the inside of the right foot. So you can bend your knee, and I just pushed mine, so I'll readjust it in a moment. Right, so bend your knee. Good. And then start to shift. So you can, I like to put my right fist on the block. And sometimes my stance was a little too wide. So I might need to bring your foot in a little closer. So right forearm is pushing against the knee and the knee is pushing against the forearm. So both of those limbs are going to push into each other to find balance. And you're going to bring your left hand to your belly just to remind yourself you're strong. Hug the belly into the spine. So you can roll your shoulder back. And this might be plenty. This might be where you land. Hand on belly or hand on hip. Or you can bring your arm up towards the sky. Right? There's one version. Arm along the ear is another version. So you decide where the arm wants to go, if it goes anywhere. And keep breathing. Keep focusing on that strength in that center, right? From between your right hand and your right foot, or leg rather. And also in your belly. Belly towards the spine. Heart towards the sky. Good. And then you can release. Right? I just dangle the arm for a second and I'll come back up. You can turn your toes, move your block to center, and we'll do a little forward fold. Nothing crazy, just a little rest. Whatever would feel good, right? Your forward fold, right? Forward fold a la carte is how I think of it sometimes. Good. And then when you're ready, you can come back up. You can move your block over to the left side, and your left toes will go out and your right toes will go in. Good. So find that strength, feet pull towards each other a little bit. You can bend your knee. Readjust your block so it's close to your left foot. Mine's touching. And then I use my fist. I bring the left fist to the block, and I'm just going to press my forearm and my lower leg together. Right? The belly pulls into the spine. I'm going to bring my right arm either up towards the sky or along the ear. My back isn't loving the arm along the ear, so I'm going to stay here, or sometimes hand to hip. So whatever works for you. Keep breathing. Right? So find that strength and center. right? Those two forces moving towards each other, the forearm towards the leg towards the forearm, and then the belly towards the spine, right? Heart ever so slightly twists up towards the sky. Keep breathing. And when you're ready, the right arm can release towards the floor. You can lengthen your legs, move your block to the center if you want it. Turn your toes forward and forward fold any way you'd like to. Any variation, any shift, any movement, any version of stillness. Good. And when you're ready, you can readjust. You might need to pull your heels in and your toes out. That's what I like to do. I like to bend the knees and just pause halfway. And then I can make my way back up, or you can make your way back up to standing and walk your feet together. I'm just going to check the time. All right. All right. So let's come back down to the yoga mat. We'll do this. So that was like side bend, but like not that stretchy. It was a little more strengthening. So let's do a stretchy one. So just like how we started before, knees bent, feet wide apart, let the knees go to the right and then rearrange. So you're comfortably seated. Heart is going to face the right knee. And the left hand can rest on the knee, or if it needs to go someplace else, it can. And the right arm can come up, straight up towards the sky. And you can start to play with a little arc over to the left. It doesn't have to be huge, because you don't have to go far in this shape to feel a stretch. So you're just stretching over to your side. If your arm doesn't want to be involved, it does not have to be involved. And breathe. Good. And you can come back up, release your arm, hands behind you, and we'll do the other side. So knees to the left. You can face the left knee, right hand goes on the knee. And then inhale the left arm up. And exhale, start to gently stretch to your right. You might not go as far this side, or maybe it's different, maybe it's easier, maybe it's a little tighter. Just notice. Deepen the breath. Arm can be involved or not. Maybe you pause, maybe you come in and out of it. Good. And when you're ready, you can come back up. You can float your hands behind you, let your knees come up, and let the knees go side to side. Good. And then you can come up, find your sitting bones, either knees up or knees out, and just roll your body over the legs. If you'd rather do child's pose, that's a good moment to do that. Or a good version of this, either way, seated or against the yoga mat. All right, so you can roll your way up when you're ready. Millie was looking very cute. And let's come down onto the yoga mat. So you can find your way onto your back. And when you get there, you can hug the knees in. or wrap your arms around the leg and just gently rock side to side. Just giving your back a little massage. Good. And then you can pause, feet to the floor. And we'll start, simple, and we'll get a little more complicated from there. So we'll do some core strengtheners. So let's see. You can bring your arms along the sides of your body, palms face down. I always scoot the shoulder blades under and scoot the arms under. And just start to hug the belly towards your spine. See if you can do that, right? Engaging the belly by pulling the belly into the back and the back into the floor. See if you can do that and breathe at the same time. So, it's not super intense, but you want to make sure you can still breathe. And you want to make sure that you're using a little more belly than back. There's a lot of muscles involved to do, a lot of things we do. Good. And then you can relax. You can pull your knees in. And we'll make the legs about the shape of like 90 degrees. So 90-90, right? 90 degree from belly to thigh, 90 degree from low leg to upper leg, or upper leg to lower leg. All right, so hug the belly into the spine. And take your one of your legs, the other one, and slowly dip the toes towards the yoga mat. If that feels too hard, bring your heel a little closer to your butt, right? And then bring it back up and switch sides. So the belly pulls down towards the spine. And go nice and slow. See, I just noticed I was using my upper back for really no reason. So see what you can relax. Notice what's necessary. Sometimes one thing gets tired and everything else raises its hand to help. So we want to isolate the muscles. That's why we keep it nice and simple. And I also just noticed my low back was arched, right? So I was not really pulling the belly into the spine. So see if you can continue. And then if the legs want to be in a different shape or a different pattern, you can certainly do that. Good. Whenever you're done, you can let your feet rest to the floor, hands on the belly, feet wide apart, knees bent, and let your knees go side to side. So we did this earlier seated. Feels a little different lying down. Good. And then you can release, bring your knees back to center, feet back a little closer. And we'll do another one. You can bring your arms along the sides of your body again. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath, tuck your arms underneath a little. Good. And we'll do water wheel. So you can hug the belly into the spine. Inhale, knees come in, feet go up. Exhale, slowly lower. Use your belly. And then inhale, knees in and feet up. Exhale, slow to lower. So keep moving with your breath. Keep trying to do a little more belly than back. The slower you go and the further you go, the more of a challenge. So you choose how far or not so far you go. And whenever you feel done, you can release. And just like before, knees bent, feet wide apart, allow the knees to go side to side. Good. And then you can release. And let's do one more if you have it in you. It's okay if you don't. So this one, you can interlace your hands behind your head. Let's see. You can bring your knees in. Now we're going to lift the head and shoulders, but you want to make sure that your neck is doing zero work. So your hands are holding your head. Your belly is lifting your chest. So take a breath in. And as you exhale, extend one leg. Keep one where it is, and then switch. Now you could keep it here, or you could take it a little further and bring opposite elbow to opposite knee, back through center, opposite elbow, opposite knee. I like staying in center. I try really hard to protect my back, and sometimes it doesn't live life. So I'm going to just keep it here. And whenever you're done, I am done with that. But you can keep going if you want. Good. Whenever you feel complete, same as before. Feet to the floor, knees can go side to side. Feet wide apart. All right. So from here, you can bring your feet a little closer. And cross the right ankle over the left knee. Knee goes off to the side. And you can stay here, or the knees can come in towards the chest. Maybe you hold the left thigh. And just stretch. Nice little stretch. Maybe your legs want to go a little side to side. Just be careful. I wouldn't rock too far. Only because if you fall over in this shape, it's a little awkward to recover from. And breathe. And you can gently release and switch sides whenever you're ready. And find a comfortable stretch on this side that you can sustain for a few breaths. You can release when you're ready. Good. And from here, we'll do a twist. So if you need something between your knees, you can grab a blanket or a block. Knees bent, feet on the floor, arms out wide, T position. And just scoot your hips a little right of center. Knees can draw in and over to the left. And you can turn your head to the right. Yeah, so any variation on this is totally fine. Oops. Just making sure that you're comfortable so you can take a few slow, deep breaths. See if you can let your mind focus on softening, releasing, letting go. When you feel ready, you can start to release. Bring the knees back up. You can square your hips. Just give it a moment, right? Rest for a moment. And then you can switch sides when you're ready. Hips to the left a little bit. Knees come in and over to the right. And just rest. Knees to the right, head to the left. Take a few slow, deep breaths. Focusing on relaxing, softening into your twist. Whenever you feel ready, you can start to unwind. You can square your hips, give your back a moment. And then it might feel good to bring the knees back into the chest and rock a little side to side, or any version, right? Maybe happy baby. And from here, the practice is yours. So you can take your time. to finish your practice however you need to. If you need another stretch, another strengthening, another yoga form, all right. So once you feel ready for your relaxation, you can set yourself up, get yourself comfortable, make sure you're warm enough. I'm going to do things slightly different tonight. So I'm going to set you up in it. I'll talk you through the first part, and then I'm going to exit and let you have your own relaxation, right? So make sure you're comfortable, and you can take a few slow, deep breaths to start your relaxation process. On every inhalation, letting your mind just focus on how the body feels, just saying hello. And then every exhale is a release, a relax, a letting go. So every inhalation, a coming home to the body. Every exhalation, a letting go. So softening in to your space, practicing the art of letting go.